Now, based on self-knowledge and self-awareness, that you can, on your own, not do the things that got you in the predicament that you're in. And that just has been so far from the truth for me. I've needed something greater than me to intervene in my natural state is drunk and loaded. My natural state is to habitually be very selfish and self-centered and driven by fear and delusion and self-seeking. And that is just where I go if I'm untreated.
Welcome. This show empowers you to confront and overcome addiction with real stories, inspiration, and a host of resources. Our growing community supports, uplifts, and takes action to enable a new way of living. Now, F3 Recovery brings you the Super Sober Podcast. Welcome to Super Sober Podcast number 50. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 50 episodes. This is going to be a special one here. We're going to be going over steps 2 and 3. I was going back and forth of what I wanted to do, whole history replay, the best of series. But the truth is man, they've all been pretty good. I couldn't decide which one I was going to get or who was going to be here or that. But I just want to let you know I'm your host. My name is Brett C. My sobriety date is 4/21/03. I'm an RN with a BSN. I've been helping people with this crazy convoluted disease addiction. And we got Mike G over here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
Hi, I'm Mike G. Sobriety date October 16th, 2022. And I work for a nonprofit organization for the last 15 years.
That's amazing. Yes. And don't forget Solomon here at the podcast place in Long Beach, California. You can go from zero to podcast. Just want to do a special shout out. We have done every podcast on the Super Sober Podcast with Solomon here at the podcast place, just making it happen. We've been growing with him. It's been 3 years, bro. Go ahead and give yourself a hand of applause.
All right, let me see. I got a button here for that. There you go.
There you go.
Man, thank you so much, Solomon. I remember when first came in here with a bright-eyed, new kind of idea what I was going to do and, do Riverside FM and do all this background stuff. I had the headphones, the microphones, and I was going to do all this. It's a lot. So I came over here talking with Solomon and bam, it's been on and cracking. I've never done a podcast outside of a studio. Man, God is good.
Appreciate that.
So we're going to be doing a teaching podcast. So this is a journey of inspiration and education, as always on Super Sober Podcast. We had so many good comments and reviews and people about the one we did with me, you, and D on step 1. Yeah, powerlessness on manageability and surrender. Got tons of comments about how people met Father Martin, had been at conferences with him and helped him stay sober, and they knew his family and they met him and they went to his treatment center. It was crazy.
Cool.
They helped him stay sober?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he helped them stay sober. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a communal back and forth thing.
Yeah.
One person talking with another. Yeah. It's reciprocal. Yeah, but as first we do before every podcast here at SSP, we're going to do some rad milestone shout outs right here. We're going to do Joey with 2 years, Jesse L with 5 years, and Russell L with 9 years. Let's go. And definite also to anyone else out there with any standard sobriety, we salute you guys.
That's right.
At SSP, right? Or Mike would say 0 days or whatever days, right?
Even if you're 40 days before you take a 30-day chip, you're listening.
If you're minus 10 days and you're still in between your one more and
no more.
Yeah.
Just one more and no more.
Yeah. So we're going to be getting into step 2, okay? And it's going to be unbelievable. We're going to do some videos. We're going to do some education. As always, you're driving in your car. You're kind of wondering what you're going to do. We haven't done any studying or been to a book study in a while or anything. We'll be in your ears. We'll be your guides. We don't know everything. We know we only know a little. But, we have some experience, strength, and hope here. So We're going to be going over step 2. Let's go to the first one on the slide right there, Solomon. We're going to do a whole slide. You can check us out on the video on YouTube. Of course, you can follow along, but we'll also be reading it as we appease to the visual as you see our beautiful faces. Or, you know, some might say I might have a face for radio, so you might want to just stay on any of the listening platforms. So, understanding steps 2 and 3 of Alcoholics Anonymous, finding hope and making a decision. A journey of spiritual awakening, openness, and the courageous decision to trust in a power greater than ourselves, the foundation of lasting recovery. Disclaimer, we don't speak for AA, we just share our experience, right, Mike?
That's right.
Go to the next slide. Step 2, came to believe. Hope begins to replace hopelessness. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity is step 2. Step 2 invites spiritual awakening and openness to hope beyond self-will. When released the burden of going it alone, healing becomes possible. Some bullet points. First, Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't demand you believe in anything. All of its 12 steps are just suggestions. To get sober and to stay sober, you don't have to swallow all of step 2 right now. Let's go piecemeal. All you really need is a truly open mind. So we're going to do some bullet points and some definitions here that will also lead you to going to step 2, to the next slide there, Solomon. The core premise, it requires an open mind and willingness, not an unwavering faith or religious devotion. The definition, your higher power doesn't need to be God. It can be anything greater than yourself, such as the AA group, nature, or even science. Defining sanity. In this context, sanity means breaking the cycle of doing the same destructive things while expecting a different outcome. Relinquishing ego. It asks you to admit you cannot overcome your addiction through sheer willpower or self-reliance alone. Restoring clarity. The goal is to regain rational decision-making and stability in your life. Creating hope. By accepting that help exists outside yourself, you build the essential foundation for recovery. Healing the obsession. It aims to relieve the mental obsession to drink that often drives irrational behavior. Relying versus defying. It replaces self-will and defiance with reliance and trust. Community and fellowship. The collective experience of your local AA group can act as a bridge to your higher power. Moving forward, it sets the stage for step 3, where you decide to turn your will and your life over to the care of this higher power. So those are some quick bullet points. When I was going over what we were going to teach on step 2 and 3, or any of these steps which we've done before, the first 10 episodes, what we did in the beginning 3 years ago, were all for the newcomer or people to get back to basics. We went through the steps on 4 through 10. You can go back and see that with other people. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's helped with Super Sober Podcast, all my co-hosts, all my guests, the whole journey. I could name them all, but that would probably take another 10 minutes. So just a shout out to everybody that's been guests, people that have helped out, the behind the scenes, on the scenes. Oh man, it's a lot. And if you want, you can just check them all out and binge all 50 episodes, and you will definitely increase your sobriety intelligence and learn some new things and rekindle some old things. So we're going to be doing 3 videos really quick on, we'll do a video and then we'll discuss it and we'll go from there. What do you think, Mike?
Outstanding.
Let's go to that first one with Father Martin.
If I know what my weakness is, that I can't handle alcohol, I can draw all the wagons of protection around that flaw and let nothing get to it. Those of you who have an addiction problem have it almost made, if you wish, once you admit that it is there and become willing to protect that weakness. How do we do it? We've already admitted that the power to handle alcohol is not in us. The wise alcoholic comes to believe that a power greater than and outside of self can do it. Now, how do you get to that point in your life when you come to believe that you can get well? We came We came to, then we came to believe. AA always advises strongly its sons and daughters, go to meetings, go to meetings, go to meetings, go to meetings. Why? That's where you find well alcoholics and drug addicts. That's where you find people who have been restored to sanity. I'll get to that word sanity in a minute, by the way. In all 12 steps of AA, the word alcohol is mentioned once. The word sobriety is not mentioned at all. They speak of being restored to sanity, but we'll get to that in a minute. The alcoholic, the drug addict, has to go to where people who are well can be seen and heard and touched, listened to and shared with. And after a bit, this thing has been bollocksed up for a lot of years. I once heard a man complain that he was very, very impatient and dissatisfied with his lack of progress. And the director of the center where he was said to him, "How many years did it take you to get into the condition that brought you here?"
All right, there's a quick snippet. And I want the guests and all the listeners to think about some of this as we go through step 2. What is my current understanding of the definitions of sanity and insanity? And what current things do I repeatedly do that are not healthy? So I love the Father Martin, how he breaks it down. I was so gone. And how many times after a long time of being drunk or addicted, that I was so gone that I had no idea what I was waking up to, or, since I was a meth amphibian, I didn't do much waking up to anything, but I was blocked off from mostly anything.
That's right.
So when I started coming to meetings and things started happening for me and I got some distance between my last drink or drug, man, I started to come to believe that these people were staying sober. And I actually, thank God there was a group for me to be there with. And, it's unbelievable, because when you go to meetings, like he was saying, it's the fellowship. Then you can actually see people that got well.
Yeah.
People that are well. And what is they say, like, sometimes the first thing that comes back is your opinion, right?
That's right.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Mike?
I mean, when you walk in, you need evidence. Pretty skeptical, cynical, rebellious, and out of desperation, you end up in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I mean, who wants to hang out, like that and talk about, how bad it is or how good it is? And you get evidence of something working in these people's lives, and that is the beginning to coming to believe. Coincidentally, the first step is I can't, and then you're moving on to he can, or it can, or she can. She can? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I like it. Some of the things is, once you name it, he said, like, once you know what the problem is,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of get a superpower through it. Some people go their whole lives without even knowing what the problem is.
Yeah.
They go, something's been bothering me.
Yeah.
And they never get deeper than superficially scratching the surface of what's going on with them. They don't go back and take a detailed history or what the steps can take you through and do, right? And it's once you name it, you can tame it.
That's right.
Right? And at least we know what the problem is, and the job will show you how to fix it. That's something I heard recently. Unbelievable. There's so many problems that if you really look at it, it'll show you how to fix it.
Yeah. And let's face it, the worst thing about being in a delusion is that you don't even know you're in it. And I think upon early entry into the program, it's very common to be thinking, oh, I'll just separate myself from drugs and alcohol and I should be fine. Everything should just go copacetic. My life should be fine as soon as I remove this. And fortunately or unfortunately, depends on how you look at it, you remove the drugs and alcohol and you realize just how sick you really are. And it has to do with the spiritual malady and the uncomfortability, facing life on life's terms, and trying to run away from your problems instead of walking through the eye of the storm kind of thing. And the coping skills required to navigate through living like a healthy adult seem to be absent because you've been obsessing on something for a really long time. It wouldn't matter what you obsessed on. You could be obsessed on Twinkies for that long and just kind of like miss a few valuable lessons and skip some maturity seasons and end up coming into an institution or Alcoholics Anonymous, if you will, and be kind of dumbfounded. Like, where do I start?
Right. Right. And we're talking about getting a higher power. If you don't go into the 12 and 12, it gets very descriptive about the one who has lost faith.
Yeah.
That had faith. 3 or 4 different bullet points I was going to put into it. I mean, there's so much information as you go through the big book and the 12 and 12 and all the different people that teach it. I went Father Martin specific due to how many people were very receptive of it on the last podcast we did on step 1. So it's in there. If you're not reading the 12 and 12 in the big book, then you're kind of, taking everybody else's word for it. And it's a lot. So, yeah. I mean, how much can we teach in one podcast about it? You need to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a higher power, you can borrow one of ours. Or for me, right, it talked about it in there. Your higher power could be one of many different things.
I mean, even the book says, stress the spiritual, freely. If the man be agnostic or atheist, make it emphatic that he can choose any conception of a higher power that he wants to, as long as it makes sense to him. I think early on, there's just so many different ways to start with the higher power, as Father Martin started off saying, together we can accomplish what I couldn't alone, right? And, so that's like numbers, right? I like numbers. So the power of numbers, or, gravity, for example, we describe the principles and laws that govern gravity, and they seem to hold true. We didn't invent them. They've always been there. We just kind of describe the principles that govern them. And you can find that same thing in Alcoholics Anonymous or in life in general, practicing principles, right, that work better than the ones we used before.
Right. The gravity of the situation. I like it. We're a program of attraction rather than promotion. So let's go to the second video there, Solomon, if you would, please. Thank you, sir.
Time is of the essence. Time. And the only thing that's going to make me patient with myself in getting well is constantly coming and being around those who are well. And after a while, this mind that has been drugged for so many years begins to come to. And with the willingness to accept what it hears, it becomes conscious of the fact that some of the rules that they are laying down work. And then he comes to believe that he can get well too. A power greater than self. I would just like to make a little comment about that. Somebody once, or you hear it often. Well, if you don't have a God, or if you don't believe in God, try that doorknob, try that coffee cup, try that radiator. I somehow can't go along with that. We are looking at a damaged human being, God's masterpiece. And in effect, those who say, for a higher power, choose a coffee cup, choose as a power greater than you are, an inanimate object which by nature is beneath you. Let me tell you what I believe about this illness. It's the most dire, destructive, awful, complex, terminal thing on earth. It reduces a human being to a point where he has to jump to touch bottom. Please don't ask him to reach down instead of reaching up. You know what a power greater than self could be? The pure example of another single, sober alcoholic.
There we go. Mike was just alluding to it, and in the segue between the two videos, man, it's unbelievable. It started for me was good orderly direction. So my religious or spiritual upbringing was, if your grandmother asks you if you believe in God, just tell her yes. She was pretty devoted. She went every Sunday.
Right.
Let's just avoid everything, because my dad didn't go, my mom didn't go, I didn't go, my brother didn't go. I had been a couple times with some other extended family, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So my first sponsor asked me, could I take some good orderly direction? And I wasn't even at a place where I thought I could do that.
Yeah.
And that's where God started me, right? Or a group of drunks.
Yeah.
Right.
You hear people say, there are no atheists in foxholes.
Right.
I always
from a war vet himself.
I always wonder about that. Is there atheists in foxholes? But in my darkest moments, when it was darkest, just before the dawn, just before the tables were about to turn and giving up seemed like the only answer left, I was able to find my, I heard someone say, at your rock bottom, the benefit of being at a rock bottom is you find your rock, right? I found something out there. And I remember right before I moved into the third step, while I was loaded, was like, hey, if you're up there, take what's left of me and do with me whatever you want. And it's been a participation sport all along. People getting better get better with people getting better. And the reality is that that coming to believe was something that came in complex layers, but no need to complicate it.
Right.
My sponsor's been sober, 42 years or something like that. He says, I say thy will be done all day. I don't even know who thy is.
Right.
But it works. So I think we resign from the debating society at some point and say, all right, I'll try a faith that works, right? And start to get our own experience with having faith in something or someone, or just get started.
Right. I got faith that it's working for someone else that had faith.
Yeah.
And I'm just following right along. And my higher power today is once you get spiritualized, you can see it.
Yeah.
And what was funny, kind of in an early stage of my disease, that I did realize that times where I thought I was going to die, I ended up calling out to God.
Yeah.
And I was like, where in the hell did that come from? Why in the hell was I calling out for God the next day? Of course, it wasn't anything too long of an epiphany.
Yeah.
Or I was knee deep in my disease, but it's like, why in the hell did I call out for God?
Yeah.
Oh, well, back to business.
Yeah.
And circling back after the steps, I was like, wow, God had my back.
Yeah.
I should be dead. How many times, right? How many times we should be dead? And you hear it all the time. As odd as it got, the last podcast, it was coincidences are God's way of staying anonymous.
Love that.
Yeah, right. Just all these great little nuggets. But man, thank God for the group of drunks. That's another God. Good orderly direction. Let's go to that third video on step 2 there, Solomon.
And I heard him say this: the insanity of the alcoholic is not the nutty things he does when he's drunk. Your sainted grandmother would do crazy, insane things when she's drugged too. Non-alcoholics do wacky things when you play with their brains. He explained what he meant by the insanity of the alcoholic, and obviously of any addict. When you are physically sober and you deliberately pick up the first drink of the next series, that is an act of absolute irrational behavior. Sober to pick up a chemical that is killing you, it just doesn't make sense. What does AA do? It steps in and stops the compulsion to pick it up. Because you see, the alcoholic and the drug addict is not free not to pick it up, really. And so he functions insanely all through his life until proper therapy steps in and prevents him from picking up the next drink. The compulsion leaves, and he now lives rationally or sanely again. And I believe that in the providence of God, it was written sanity instead of sobriety, because these 12 principles can apply to any human ailment. Overeating, compulsive gambling, narcotics, anything. Any of the acts of these people is irrational because it is self-destructive.
Man, how do we get back into within? We get here living from the outside in, and you're grabbing up everything from the outside to fix that inner hole. How are you going to first change and live from the inside out? You know, they say the kingdom of God is within, but you can't get to within of what's godly like within you. Mm-hmm. They call it peeling back the onion without going through the steps or doing what I did or coming to believe that other people were doing the same pathway. I didn't have the power not to choose once I start.
No.
And when I was taught on this, is that the insanity returned to sanity about me ever using or drinking again. Mm-hmm. It's just insane from a sane mind or my state to where I am right now to put more drugs and alcohol into me, knowing exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I get to work with it and see what happens to these people working in a detox for the last 12 plus years.
Yeah, I think originally it's hard to digest that every action is born of thought. Every action that I took that was completely irrational, irresponsible, it felt like it was a compulsion outside of my control, an obsession, a great obsession that blotted out everything that a rational mind would say, hey, wait a minute. If you do that, you may lose your job. You may lose your place to live. You may, suffer in your relationships, right? You've been down this path before. Look at all the consequences in the past that you've hit. But one more time, you are willing to jump in the ring, as Father Martin talked about in Powerlessness. Right. One more time, I'm getting in the ring thinking it'll be different this time. For sure, it'll be different this time. And, one more painful lesson. And I think, even now, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, knowing what I know now, I never would do that which I did then. And that's kind of claiming that now, based on self-knowledge and self-awareness, that you can, on your own, not do the things that got you in the predicament that you're in. And that just has been so far from the truth for me. I've needed something greater than me to intervene in my natural state is drunk and loaded. My natural state is to habitually be very selfish and self-centered and driven by fear and delusion and self-seeking. And that is just where I go if I'm untreated. And so I need treatment all the time, every day. The funny thing is that you tell an alcoholic, hey, there is a treatment for this desperate condition that's taking away anything worthwhile in life. All you got to do is be helpful. It's like, no, be helpful.
No, that's terrible.
Try and be a better person than I was yesterday. Be good to people and forgive people frequently and try and make right my wrongs and not keep a bunch of secrets and not do a bunch of shady shit. There's got to be another way.
Yeah.
There has to be another way. Isn't there a pill I can take? Isn't there, some kind of electrotherapy or, just anything but being a good person.
Yeah.
And we're not bad people trying to be good people. But we have found that enlarging upon your spiritual growth can ensure your sobriety and being helpful to a person who suffers from the same ailment you have. If you were sitting here with cancer and you were really struggling, helping another person with cancer wouldn't cure cancer. It would be very helpful to the other person and very helpful to your spirit. But with alcoholism, it's the only thing that you can do where you can go through the program, go through the treatment, and come out a better version than you started into the journey. So yeah, it's wild that we really fight and resist doing something good for the community, good for ourselves, good for our family, right? I mean, it's got all these pluses, and all we have to do is submit and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. I need help. and will you help me? And a lot of great things happened after that.
Well said, sir. Halfway through the podcast, we're going to be going to His House New Creation, the sponsor over the last 2 years plus of the Super Sober podcast. Huge shout out to Glenn. He's been on the podcast a couple of times. His House New Creation. They just did their 4th of July alumni picnic. It was awesome. Everybody had so much fun. And if anybody needs help, it's 877-345-4138. And that number again, 877-345-4138. We'll be right back for step 3.
At Embrace Life Change, your journey to mental wellness begins in a place where understanding meets action, where care is personalized and recovery is achievable. With over 30 years of experience, our expert team offers a range of evidence-based treatments tailored to each individual's needs. From anxiety and depression to complex psychiatric disorders, our comprehensive approach includes cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness practices, and innovative programs designed for deep healing. Our small treatment groups ensure personalized care, fostering stronger connections, and a supportive community that empowers your recovery journey. Hear from those who've embraced change and found hope, healing, and a path to a better life with us. Embrace Light Change is more than a treatment center. It is a place where lasting change begins. If you or someone you love is seeking help, call us first. Let's take that first step together towards a brighter future. Embrace Light Change, nurturing mental health, where hope and healing meet.
All right, we are back for step 3 in the second half of the Super Sober podcast. Another shout out challenge for those struggling with their higher power. We're always giving challenges and things and requests here at Super Sober Podcast. Go ahead and pray every day for 30 days straight to have a higher power reveal itself to you without unequivocation, without any doubt that you know personally that there is a higher power, and see what happens. See what happens, right? The challenge, right? Pray for someone for 30 days, see if there is a change without expecting how it's going to happen or whatever. Do you think the program still means the same to us after all these years of practicing it? Absolutely not. Has my higher power changed and different views and enlarging on the spiritual condition and where we're at? It's unbelievable. So challenge accepted, people? Maybe, maybe not. So we're going to be going into step 3, right? So step 3, we'll go back to the PowerPoint right there, Solomon, on the first one. Step 3, made a decision. Taking the step from self-will to faith. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Step 3 is an act of courage. Choosing to release control and embrace surrender as the true path to recovery and lasting peace. Some bullet points, applying steps 2 and 3, practical insights for recovery, accepting help beyond self, building hope and faith, support growth in the journey, choosing willingness over resistance, finding peace through surrender. Step 3 calls for affirmative action, for it is only by action that we can cut away the self-will which has always blocked the entry of God, from the 12 and 12, page 34. Selfishness, self-centeredness that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Big Book, page 62. Moving forward, faith is an act of the heart, a step toward healing. Embrace steps 2 and 3 as the foundation for lasting recovery. Each day is a new opportunity to trust, surrender, and grow in hope. Read pages 60 through 64 in the Big Book daily. Incredible wisdom. Then we'll go to the third step prayer. God, I offer myself to Thee, to build with me and to do with me as Thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I might better do Thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those that I would help. Of Thy power, Thy love, and Thy way of life, may I do Thy will always. Unbelievable stuff right there. Reading 60 to 64. I mean, if you can metabolize half of that information and then what's going on in the 12 and 12, right? You were at a step house. You heard the people over there. I read pages 60, 64, 85 through 89, 417, paragraph 2, did a 3rd and 7th step prayer. If you don't have a routine in the morning, I dare you. When I was given my routine, I still do it. Not as much now as when I was first given it, my first probably 15 years of recovery. I still have my recovery binder that they gave me in my last treatment center. It has all the prayers. It's in my heart. Every 85 through 89, they highlighted it. We've gone over it in the earlier 10 episodes of the podcast. It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So we'll reiterate that right here. It says in the big book, driven again by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. So the question for you to keep going here in the second half is, how does this relate to you? Where in the past have I made decisions based on self that later placed me in a position to be hurt? So let's go into that first video.
AA lays down the 12 rules to get sober by. It also chronicles the progress from step to step. That's the beautiful part of it. Many alcoholics are scared to death of God, so Bill never used that term in step 2. He used a very generic thing, power greater than ourselves. But as the alcoholic and drug addict gets a little bit more and more well, he is able to listen to these words without becoming terrified and frightened and so on. I've always said that the farther away the addict gets from the chemical that separated him from God, then like a homing pigeon, he soars back to the God of his own understanding. The beauty of Alcoholics Anonymous is this: no one tries to stuff his own notion of God into anyone else's mind. It is always for the individual, God as he or she understands him. All right. Now, what does this mean? We turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand him. Well, many people think that, Lordy, they're being asked to make a commitment that would turn them into nuns or monks. Not at all. What do you mean by turning yourself over to the care of God? I'm sure you've heard this over and over and over again in your life. Turn it over, turn it over, turn it over. It does not mean that you turn your entire self over to God to take care of. What this means is a very sensible thing indeed. You've admitted, number one, you can't handle it. You have come to believe that there is some power that can. This step puts you in touch. I can't handle it, God can, I think I'll let him. Now, how do I let God give me the strength to not drink or not drug? Simply by a willingness to do so, by making the decision. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. What does that mean? My way did not work. Most alcoholics tried to drink and control it. It just didn't work. God's way is 12 principles. They're all stated. They're all stated. They're there. And so when I adopt these principles to live by, it is from them that I gain the strength of God to live a sober life.
Chew on that, people. Right? Making that decision, making the daily decision. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think the book says, that this decision was the keystone of a triumphant arch through which we pass to freedom, Mm-hmm. It's like such a critical moment in which we make a decision, right? What do they say? Three frogs are on a log.
Yeah.
2 of them make a decision to jump. How many are left? Well, all 3, they haven't done anything. They just made a decision, and you're getting ready to launch yourself through the process of the remaining 12 steps, starting with step 4, right? Writing a moral inventory. So this decision is key, and which way you aim and point your sights, if you will, and it has a trajectory. Right?
Yeah, it's going to shoot you right into 4. Let's see what kind of
right into the 4th dimension, right into the 4th. But there's something called the 3rd step promises. We had a new employer who's all powerful and provides what we need as long as we keep close to him and perform his work well. Established on such a footing, we became less and less interested in ourselves, our little plans and designs, and more we became interested in seeing what we could do to help others. This is a big deal. This is a big turning point. My way didn't work. And now I'm turning it over to a different way, right? And my will is my intentions, my desires, and my life is my actions, So when it says I'm turning my will over, I feel like it's like I'm turning over my thinking. I'm turning over all these thoughts that have been embedded in my brain for a really long time.
Thoughts and my actions were my will,
my desires,
life.
Right? What do I want out of life, and this and that. I'm kind of turning it all over and taking a good hard look at it while I go through the inventory process, because I'm getting ready to inventory a lot.
Well, don't tell them about that.
Yeah, my story, my history, right? And I mean, it goes on and on, right? We're doing a bunch of inventories right now with character. I mean, it keeps going. It goes all the way to the people you wronged, right? I mean, and then what did you do today, right? I mean, it just keeps going. You take a nice little inventory, and somewhere through the process, you find that it's like driving down a freeway and being like, are we almost there? I mean, I think I haven't had an obsession for the last 30 days to get loaded.
Yeah.
How come the doorbell hasn't rang? Yeah. How come the obsession hasn't hit me? Well, I'm so focused on, trying to clean up the wreckage of my past and turning my will and my life over that, it's just, I completely, going and screwing up habitually just seems to have eluded me.
I love it. I love what you're saying with that. It's so true. And man, making that decision, my thoughts and my actions, that's what I was told. I mean, what is my will in my life? They can break it down to simplistically.
Yeah.
So I challenge the people to read 60 to 64.
Oh, absolutely.
Read that every morning. It will change your life. I was just going to read it, straight out for people to listen to while they're driving, or a daily thing if they weren't going to do it. But that's your own personal journey.
Yeah. I read it every single day. Right. I mean, I really do. And I start with the 3 pertinent ideas for a reason, right? That I can't, he can, and I'm going to let him, right? That he would if he were sought.
Right.
I'm glad it doesn't say found. It says God could and would if he were sought.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to seek him through my daily activities. And the very first paragraph of 60 says, being convinced we're at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to the care of God. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do?
Yeah, it gives you it all right there.
And it just lays it all out. And
it's hardcore. It's
hardcore.
It's an internalizing and metabolizing process that grows with you, like all true spiritual journeys. So let's go to the next one right there, Solomon, on the second part.
Have you ever heard this from people in the program? Well, I haven't been tempted to drink, but my life is becoming a little unmanageable. And then this brilliant line, I think I'll get out of the driver's seat. You do, and you'll have a bloody wreck. God is not about to come down to earth and run your life for you. He didn't cook your breakfast this morning, did he? Did he pay your last rent? Did he make the last payment on your mortgage? Did he go to work for you today? You know what God gives drivers? You stay in a driver's seat, he'll give you a couple of maps. And that's what God does in the AA program. These are the maps, the directions to live by. I've got to do the driving. I've got to make some decisions. God's not about to do this for me. God is not about to pray in my place. He's not about to continue to take my inventory. He's not about to make my amends. I have to do all that. What God does is give the strength. Let me give you an example. One time there was a little farm kid. He was about 8 years old. And every night or every evening, it was his job to go down to the road, it was about 50 yards away, get the evening paper for his dad. One afternoon he forgot. And it was midwinter, of course, the sun went down about 4:30. And it's around supper time, and his father looked around for the paper, and it wasn't there. And his mother said, "Get down, get the paper for your dad." He kind of dragged his feet and made this excuse, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. And after about 20 minutes of their pleading with him, get down and get the paper, finally the mother said, "Get down and get the paper." And he started to cry. And she was shocked. She said, what in the world's wrong? And the kid was just sobbing by now. He said, I've been afraid to tell you all my life, but he said, I'm scared to death of the dark. He said, I'm just afraid of the dark. I'm scared to death to go out there. And his mother just put her arms around him and sat him in her lap. And she tried to explain to him that there's really nothing to be afraid in the dark. It's the same outside. There's just no light there. And always remember that God is everywhere. God's out there. God is out there, just as he's in here. Kid lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh, he said, that's wonderful. Shot himself up to the door, opened it, stuck his arm out, and asked God to hand him the newspaper. Well,
Yep, God doing for us what we can't do for ourselves, or are we going to be in a state of action? He's talking about the roadmap. The map is the life experiences that happen for you now on the spiritual path. So you can make better decisions as you course correct is corrected to happy, joys, and free, filtering your life through the 12 steps. We're giving you the map to not only just work on staying sober, clean another day, whatever you want to call it, but to being able to handle a lot of life in so many different ways. So thanks, Father Martin, on that one, for sure. And the cute little thing. So all of these videos, you just type in Father Martin Step 2. That's where this is from. Father Martin Step 3, Father Martin Step 4, Chalk Talk, any of his stuff. It will definitely, just like this podcast, help you with your sobriety intelligence, as we hope on Super Sober Podcast 50 and all of them before this.
Yeah, I mean, this whole concept of making a decision and to turn our will and our lives over the care of God, even coming to believe, what an order, I can't go through it, right? I mean, each step is an integral part in the ingredient to having a spiritual experience, and if you're not there yet, the most important step you're on, the most important step is the one you're on. Like
Right.
focus on the one you're on. Don't keep the other ones in consideration yet. Write your fourth step like you're never going to do a fifth step, right? Come to believe in a power greater than yourself without worrying about the word God yet, right? And then make a decision to turn your will and your life over to something better than you, and you'll find a new life. So
Yeah, I love it. Let's do that last video right there. We're doing like couple minute videos per one. You can get the whole scoop.
may I simply suggest this. As an alcoholic or as a drug addict, you can always say, Dear Lord, you have given me another day in which to stay sober. I adore you as my God. I offer you myself. Every thought, word, and deed, every beat of my heart, every beat of my pulse, every breath that I breathe, all that I am and have, all that I will do or suffer this day, I give to you. Now, you've given yourself 100% to God. Nobody can outdo God Almighty in generosity. If you give yourself completely to Him and He gives Himself completely to you, who comes out on top? Who makes out better? And who could possibly get drunk after such a commitment? The decision is one thing, carrying out the rest of your life. May I suggest that you give the first fruits of your day to the God who has given you the priceless gift of sobriety. May I suggest that it be done in the morning when you open your eyes. If at the end of the day you thank God for another day of wellness, another day of sobriety, I once heard a man say, gratitude is the only coin with which you can buy God and man. Gratitude for today's sobriety practically ensures tomorrow's. This is the heart and soul of your program. This is the heart and soul of your program. And I hope you nail it into your own heart and soul. Thank you, and good night.
And there we go. Starting your day and ending your day. The heart and soul of the program, making a decision daily to commit to your new life. Right? Making that decision every day when I'm waking up.
yeah. I mean, a transformation of thought and attitude and, right, emotional rearrangement of sorts, doesn't happen overnight. So waking up in the morning, doing your meditation, even ending the day with a meditation. What do you do throughout the day? There's clear cut, precise direction written out in the big book that just seems to work. Don't take my word for it. Get your own experience with it.
Yeah.
Follow that direction verbatim. I remember following that direction verbatim, thinking, well, you know what? I'll do exactly what it says. And that way, when it doesn't work, I'll be able to look my kids in the eyes and say, hey, your dad went down swinging. So I was calling their bluff. I wanted my own experience. I was liking what I was hearing, but I didn't believe it would work for me. So I started reading those pages and following the direction verbatim, like looking for where I was falling short, looking for how I wasn't doing it exactly as it said verbatim. And you know what? When I follow it verbatim, man, life's good. I mean, better than ever, right? No matter what's going on. I thought I was like, I rocketed to the fourth dimension sitting at the bus stop, trying to help somebody next to me, hey man, where are you going? Trying to just be helpful. So it's not a matter of what you get in the program. It's just a matter of what you got on the inside. It's an inside job, and, get your own experience with it.
Yeah. Making the decision and sticking to the decision.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable on the third step, getting rocketed into the fourth dimension. You bring that in, maybe one of these days we'll do the energy frequency chart and the different dimensions and how it totally aligns and correlates. But that would be for a different podcast. But we definitely, if you do work on doing this program and getting through all 12 steps and having had a spiritual awakening, you can't not.
Yeah, I mean, we love to tell people, God will do for you what you can't do for yourself. What we don't like to tell him is he will not do for you that which you can, right? Here's your list. Dr. Paul in Acceptance, when I heard him speak, he broke it down perfectly. This is God's job. This is your job. Yeah. You do the footwork. He's in the results business.
Right.
So I just do my part and do what I'm supposed to do. And he seems to meet me halfway. And I think he's doing most of the heavy lifting. Yeah.
For sure. Right. It's like, how in the hell could I be at where I am and doing things like meeting Solomon and doing this podcast? I thank God things didn't work out the way I wanted to, because I would have never been doing the things that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
If it was going to work out the way I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And when I started doing the third step prayer, build with me and do with me thou will, God said, well, I'm going to make you a nurse. And I was like, whoa, bro, you got to have a different plan than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be my financial future. You're going to make me a male nurse.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
That's right.
And it's like, with my record and my background and how I see things, and I'm going to have to be told what to do by a whole bunch of other people. And man, talk about the 12 steps I've been able to insert as a superpower into the medical field.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because it's like, well, before you got here, I think Brett was like injuring people, and now he's like helping people. My sister, who was homeless, got into the program, and now she like really helps run a homeless shelter.
Come on,
I work for people with disabilities and mental illness, right? And I don't think I'm not owning that or saying that that's who I am, but I definitely got traits, and my liabilities have now become my greatest assets.
Right.
And that seems
in God's economy.
That seems to be pretty standard. That's nothing special in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's just the regular get down.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, I would be passing drugs. I was involved with drugs. I passed drugs. I know drugs. I'm giving them one way or another my whole flipping life, whether it's legal or illegal. Now,
to all you future pharmacists out
there. Yeah, exactly.
You're well on your way.
You are your own chemistry set. Let's just tell you that.
Yeah.
And man, it's unbelievable. But we're coming towards the end of this podcast. I hope you guys really liked what we're doing here. You got any last words on it or anything?
No, just thank you for having the time. Congratulations on 50 episodes of this podcast. And thank you, Solomon. It's always a pleasure to meet you.
Do you got anything last to say, Solomon? This has got to be awesome.
I just really like the part where Father Martin says it applies to everybody, because I always listen and I think about things in my life. And I've never had a drink. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never done drugs. I've never gambled. But there are things in my life that it applies to, right. and I understand where he says, that book, it will be for anything. And so, I always learn from it when we come here.
Yeah, when he was saying gambling, I was in my mind, I was like, what about?
Yeah.
I still had a long list of things I could add on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, man, we appreciate Solomon for jumping in and making everything happen, man. Just think, if it wasn't for God, I never would have been sitting in the studio and making things easier and having fun with friends, and came up with Notorious JID and all that stuff. So just shout out for the episode 50, steps 2 and 3. We're breaking it down. We plan on, I don't even know what God has in store. I mean, we're doing another, 12 episodes towards the end of the year. We are contracted to do that. And we'll see what Glenn and his House New Creation and Super Sober podcast, we plan on finishing the rest of the 12 steps. Hopefully Mike will join us. Thank you. Appreciate you, Mike, for jumping in here. The journey and being willing and coming down on a Sunday and, sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Everybody likes Mike G. Everybody always gets such great stuff. They're like, you got Mike on there, man? Oh, shit, I love Mike. He's rad, dude. He's funny and great insight. And yeah, we're doing it with Recovery Time Links. If you didn't see on the set right here, we got Mike's right here. You can show yours off. Here's his 3-year coin setup. We got Recovery Time Links, so you never forget how far you've come. Yes, the old school bronze coins. We have my setup here on through the set. You can see here on recoverytimelinks.com. So you never forget how far you come. We doing a chip buyback program or anything. Get those chips out of the drawer. This is your greatest accomplishment for people. It's unbelievable. So you just contact us. We're doing a lot of momentum. People have been making turtles and butterflies and painting them and blinging them out. It's pretty crazy what people are doing. And so we're on all platforms. You can email us at info@f3recovery.org, info@supersoberpodcast.org. You can hit us up on our website at f3recovery.org. We're on all platforms. Buzzsprout is the universal link, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Shout out to all the people in the comments that have been just soaring on social media. If you don't keep walking the path, you'll never get there. Don't forget about the detox, the one sheet, the story of addiction, the deadliest disease that man has ever known, is a streaming series that I wrote for Hollywood. We still don't have anything niche like to binge for recovery. So come on, Hollywood, what's going on, man? Check us out. The one sheet's on f3recovery.org. And if anybody needs any help, you got any ideas or people want to shoot us some emails. We've had different platforms coming out and want us to showcase them, and people have been doing a lot of help. I just want to give one last shout out. 50 episodes, the big 50. Man, who would have ever thought? I remember Solomon telling us, when you first start out and then where you get to where we are, we're pretty smooth these days. Things are flowing pretty good. So as always on Super Sober Podcast, keep on keeping on. Thank you for listening to the Super Sober Podcast. Go to our website at f3recovery.org. That's F3Recovery, all one word, .org. We're turning fight, flight, and freeze into free form and flow through practicing the 12 steps and staying accountable to change. Don't forget to keep on keeping on.